It's Jason Abraham, the Shadow Teacher. And if you tune into this channel on a regular basis, if you watch these videos I put out for you, there's a good chance that you have chosen to walk on the road less traveled through this life. Or maybe the road less traveled has chosen you as its passenger. Either way, there's going to be times when you look around, you see friends, you see family, you see acquaintances who are content to sing the anthems and the lullabies of the Matrix, who are dancing to the rhythms of the collective consciousness, and just seem to be at a place where they are finding pleasure with what they've been fed and what they're told. But you yourself, because of the road you've taken, because of what you've chosen to stand for, you are not able to derive pleasure in these things. And the things that you have chosen to stand for are requiring a lot of you. They're asking you to give consistently, but yet you feel like you're on a road where you're running out of gas. You're getting diminished returns. And I want to say to you, don't lose heart. This is going to happen when you choose this path. You're going to have long droughts. And the flow states can sometimes feel like they're few and far between. When we have them, when we tap into them, we know that we're on our path. They're great affirmation that we are doing the right thing, doing what we're meant to do. But just because you're not in that flow state and you're actually feeling more resistance, that doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. And sometimes the right thing to do is just to weather the storm and to learn how to manage your energy when you're in these states. And it takes a lot of examination, looking inward. What I find when I get in these states, I start to feel it coming. And I simply just am conscious about setting more time for myself and journaling and paying attention to why I feel this way. And I'm honoring what I'm going through. And I spend more time in prayer and meditation. And when I talk of prayer, the way I pray is I just speak directly to the source, just like I'm talking to you right now. And I vocalize what I'm going through, and I vocalize all that I'm feeling while acknowledging what I'm grateful for. Because ultimately, even when I feel this way, I'm still grateful for my path. I'm still grateful for what I've chosen and what has chosen me. Even when I'm not deriving pleasure from my choices at that moment. And I've come to this again because I've also chosen the path of the Matrix. I've chosen to appease the Matrix in the past. And ultimately, what I was left with was a deep emptiness and a deep depression, as I was denying my own soul, and I was denying what my soul was called to do. So even when I'm not in that flow state, I still have the awareness to acknowledge that I'm honoring my call. And with that, I have some peace of mind. But it's not always pleasurable. It just goes with the territory. And if I feel like that spiral is continuing to go down, then I know I need some kind of reset. And I can't expect on something outside to give it to me. So I always have to look at what I've got available, and then I can make a conscious choice of a way just to reset my consciousness. And it could be just, it's usually just something simple, like just when I'm taking a walk, go a different way, just look at the world differently than I normally do. Because usually when we get to these places, it's just because we've gotten into a pattern. We're getting into repetition, and our spirit thrives with a mix of repetition and novelty. To get good at something, we do need the repetition, we need the structure, but our brains and our consciousness, we also need novelty. We need something that inspires us to look at our lives and look at the world in a fresh new way. And not in the way that the Matrix provides novelty, as the Matrix version of novelty is what I would call distraction. And the Matrix, those who are playing the game of the Matrix tend to get addicted to distraction. So as the light worker, again, as one who's on the path of consciousness, we too need novelty, but we have to find a way of providing in a different way. And I find too, eventually the universe meets us halfway. Eventually we get that big shift that our soul is calling, but we have to do our part. And I was talking to a friend who was in this place pretty recently, and many times I've been in this place, and this very friend has always been there for me, and it was his words of kindness and wisdom that pulled me out. And every time he was right. So if you find yourself here, know that you are not in the wrong place. It's just part of the path of the light worker. And maybe this is a time to go into reflection. Maybe it's a time just to change one simple thing in your world, one simple pattern. Just do one little thing differently. But don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged, because the world needs you, and the world needs people on this path. And that being said, I will see you on the other side.